Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Maggie, and welcome to the M&M Debrief, the podcast where Mike and Maggie discuss the top stories in politics and sports and try to make sense of the headlines. Mike, do we have any follow-ups from the last episode?
Yeah, I got a couple. I made a couple of mistakes. I referred to the CEO of Palantir as Alex Korn. Is he actually his name is actually Alex Karp. sorry,
Oh,
sorry about that. And then also Palantir, one of the founding members of Palantir is a guy named Joe Lonsdale. I think I called him John Lonsdale. This had to do with the kid who didn't want to work for a Jew, I guess. Remember that one? And
yes,
then
yes.
so Joe Lonsdale was one of the guys who encouraged him on Twitter to reveal the real kid's name, I guess.
So
So
that was
just
Joe Lonsdale who did that.
Joe Lonsdale. Yeah, I refer to him
Okay,
as John Lonsdale. My apologies.
okay.
So,
So he's the jerk, and Alex Karp is not. Okay,
oh yeah, Alex Carper's a jerk too, but for completely different reasons.
okay.
He's a huge Zionist and just wants to use his software to. Well, never mind. You
All
know what they
right.
use. You know what they use it for.
Yes.
Anyway, and I'm gonna have to make a. I don't know if it's a retraction or the World
Walking
Cup.
back, maybe.
Walking back, I was predicting or saying that the World Cup would be in America wouldn't be all that great. There wouldn't be a lot of fans, but apparently it's going fairly well. FIFA released a bunch of the rooms that they had on block, and guess what? Prices plummeted, and people could actually afford to stay in hotels. All the cities that were going to use trains and buses for transport that were going to charge astronomical fees, well, they reduced all those fees to normal
Good,
prices.
good.
And so the people have spoken, and
Excellent.
generally people seem to be having a decent time, and there seems to be a decent amount of people in the stadiums having fun with the World Cup.
Good. Good for
Uh,
them. I'm glad.
I I
And
also
and
was
I'm
here.
glad the power of the people, they had a voice and
Mm-mm.
they made an impact.
Yeah, there was a few visa issues, but I think I mean the only team that has to worry about stuff is the Iranian team, which they can't stay in America more than
Mm,
24 hours or whatever, and they've got to get back on a plane immediately after games to go back to Mexico, which hurts their recovery. But they seem to be playing fairly well, so I'm hoping they
okay.
make the knockout round and maybe they'll meet America. That'll be a soccer game of the
That
of the
would
of the
be,
decade. Yes.
yes, on par with the Miracle on Ice or something.
Something like that. Yeah,
Something like that.
I'll let you decide who's America and who's Russia in that scenario. I don't know. So,
Yeah.
all right. Anyway, so the war, or the there's two wars. The Ukraine Russia war is cranking up, but as far as the Iranian war, it's basically summarized in one word: Lebanon. A
Mm,
14-point memorandum of understanding was set up, and with Lebanon being one of the top items there, the bombing there has to stop, or the invading, and Israel pretty much ignored that, and so now the strait is back to being closed, and Israel is back to going into Lebanon. Somebody hit a nuclear power plant in Iran. And now I'm starting to get worried that they are going to respond against going after the civilian infrastructure,
mm.
probably in every place, Israel and the Saudi states and all that. I haven't heard anything for the last day and a half. I thought the Iranians would respond to the nuclear thing with going after desalination plants in Israel, but they have not, that I have heard.
Okay.
So we'll see. I think they're still trying. They're still trying to keep that MOU together. The Iranian oil sanctions have been waived for 60 days, which is a huge concession. Well, there's a huge number of concessions in the MOU,
We're
but
just giving them the bank, basically.
oh yeah, yeah, it is no doubt that we are yeah. When Trump said nothing but unconditional surrender, would
Yeah.
suffice. Well, he was right, and it's us that's doing
It's us that's doing the surrendering
it's, a,
unconditionally.
it's us that's
Whatever you
doing
want.
the
$30 billion? No problem. All those
that's right.
sanctions waived? No
No
problem.
problem. You can
No
have control
problem.
of the
You wanna
strait, and
charge
you want to
fees
charge
for
you want to
people
charge
to go through
tolls.
the Strait of Hormuz? No problem.
No problem.
Yeah.
So there is unconditional surrender. It's just not who you think it is.
Mm. Shoes on the other
um,
foot.
yeah, and I am starting between this and then Ukraine with the monster attack on Moscow. I'm starting to hear the N word coming out of both of these, which is nukes. More and more people are surmising or contemplating out loud that don't be surprised if Israel, since they are now probably considering themselves under existential threat. If America is trying like heck to get out, tide is turning against Israel in America. Well, they're not stupid. They know that they got to go to Plan B, or they got to try to control the narrative, or whatever they're gonna do. And if they are seriously and if they believe that land is given to them by God and they're under existential threat, the N word might come out, and it's just, like, apparently it's the same thing with Russia, which I don't get, since Russia's so big. And if Ukraine is not letting them take what Russia thinks is theirs, the Iranians obviously think it's their land, since that's what the maps say, that they might go, maybe not the N word, but they might start attacking other European countries, since Europe is backing them. We're backing them, but Europe is also backing Ukraine, and they might respond by going after, the Baltic states, or maybe get into Poland or something. So there's a powder keg here. Something's gonna go here. Something's gonna blow. Just trying to figure out what. But yeah. So just hang on to your knickers there, hon. So I'm trying to
Dang,
think if there's anything else. I haven't heard anything out of Asia lately. Yeah. I don't know. Things are cranking up again, and we'll see which way the tide turns here. So.
for sure.
Let me see. We could skip to the foreign issues since I'm talking about Europe. How about if we do foreign next, and then
Sure.
we'll go to domestic. So speaking of Europe, Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, has resigned. So for those of you keeping score, that is the seventh uh, prime minister to resign in the last 10 years since Brexit
Mm.
was voted on. So I'll let you put two and two together.
Hmm.
And basically, the UK is not growing at all because they've cut off all ties with Europe. Well, they haven't cut off ties, but they've made it a heck of a lot harder to do business with people in Europe, which was their biggest trading
Right.
partner. And they're just not growing. It's like their economy has shrunk by like 8 to 10% since this whole thing started.
Really, that's a lot.
No jobs. That's kind of leading to a lot of the racial strife that's going on, because they've got immigrants in England, and then in Northern Ireland too. The whole deal
Mhm.
with the nationalist white movement that's popping up. It's largely economic, I
Yeah.
think.
Right.
So I have the faintest idea who the next prime minister is going to be, but I think they're running out of bodies here. I don't know. I don't know who would take this job.
Right. I mean, it's hey, I'll be prime minister if they're really, looking for somebody. I'm not British, but I'm sure I could do the job.
Yeah, you're
You
closer to being
know,
British than I am. Although my parentage on my father's side was
that's
English.
right.
Maybe I can go back and get my passport and make a run at
There you go.
it.
Yeah, that's crazy because didn't things begin to fall apart for Starmer after the whole Epstein file?
Yeah,
release.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, I haven't been following that closely, but yeah, I think I forget who the guy's name was, but he ended up in the Epstein files, and I'm
And
not
he
sure
was like
if the
a
what
part of his cabinet,
yeah, part of his
right?
cabinet, and if he didn't resign or he should Starmer should have known that he was in, or he didn't ask for his resignation or something, so yeah, that was part of it. I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name right now, but,
I'm actually just kind of surprised that Starmer is resigning. If this was Trump, he would say, "To heck with you,"
mhm,
in a less nice way,
mhm,
and he would say, "I'm staying here no matter what, and I'm gonna just,
mhm.
make this work." I just don't understand why
Mm.
Keir Starmer has to actually resign.
Yeah, I don't the way that they do things over there is a little different, where the party will just they get that is in
Decide.
power will just nominate and just push the guy
Yeah.
forward. So once the there would be the liberal or the Labor Party,
Yeah.
when they get enough seats to hold power, then they just pick a guy and he's the prime minister, you know. So
Right.
if or she, I guess.
Mhm.
If they don't want to support him, then they're screwed. The thing that
Yeah.
Trump's got going for him now is that the Republicans are, maniacally, hypnotically behind him all the way, no matter what.
Mm.
So no matter what the people think, and so,
Right.
but I think the Parliament, what are they? The PMs, I think they're
Yeah,
called.
yeah.
Or MPs? The MPs, I
MPs,
think is what
ministers
they
of
were called.
parliaments, yeah.
Ministers of Parliament. They're a little more savvy, I think they or God forbid, I think they actually speak to their constituents.
Mhm.
I don't know if this is necessarily Keir Starmer's fault. I mean, he got elected with a large majority. I think the country is so effed up that no matter who gets in there, they're all happy, and then a year and a half later,
Mm.
"Oh, nothing's changed, so now you suck and get out and let's get someone else." I don't know if it's
Right,
necessarily, Starmer's fault. It's
right.
more of the lack of economic activity that came out through Brexit, and,
Sure.
I don't know if we got any English listeners, but, I strongly recommend that you have another vote.
Mhm. Well, they have a thing where they do a vote of no confidence,
Mhm,
and that is kind of the death knell for anybody who is in power. And in this case, while they didn't have the vote of no confidence, that's a very,
uh,
embarrassing, shameful thing. It
uh.
sounds like Keir Starmer saw the writing on the wall and just decided, "You know what? That's okay. You guys go ahead. I'm gonna resign." You know?
Yeah, maybe he's just like, "Well, this isn't what it's cracked up to be," but,
Right.
yeah,
If he
I
doesn't have his own party supporting him, he's
mm.
SOL, so
Yeah,
yeah.
it just seems so obvious that the Brexit was the trigger for all this.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't just say, "Look, I'm calling a referendum to undo Brexit." I bet you that would have saved him, but there are other
Mm,
under the covers stuff that I don't get. I mean, I've heard
right.
numerous people say that trying to revert from Brexit just isn't a deal, maybe because Europe's so pissed at them, or they
Right.
should win, like, I think, at least 60, maybe 65 would vote to go back into Europe, but there's some other issues under the covers that I'm not quite privy to,
Mhm.
and, yeah, I think they oughta, reverse Brexit, but I don't know.
Well, yeah, so what do we say? Boris Johnson
Uh,
was leading that effort for Brexit, and that was all about the same time that Trump was, running for president, so, um, it's actually a sign of the times, and maybe just like Trump, everybody is now regretting the decisions they made back in 2015, 2016, and
mhm.
they're beginning to go back to, "Let's go back to, what was traditional, what was normal." Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, just on social media, where there's more people coming out saying, "You know what? I'm changing my mind on Trump. He just lied to us." And there are other people going, "I'm sorry, dude, you don't get off that easy." Yeah, the rest of us saw this a mile away,
"We warned
and,
you.
yeah,
I
and,
told you so."
to sit here and say that, he lied to me. It's like, no, you're just fucking stupid. Yeah, you didn't see it coming, or you're angry about other social issues that you're blinded to what
Right.
was going on, and we're all supposed to just forgive and forget. Oh, yeah, he lied to me. Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah.
we'll see what the aftermath is. I don't, I don't think there's going to be a Nuremberg or anything. I think we'll all just sort of pick up the pieces and try to move on. But
Well,
mm,
I think there will be some sort of rectifying of the situation.
what?
There's been
Yeah,
a lot
when?
of corruption
Nah,
in the US that needs to be addressed. People
when
need to
would?
be held accountable.
Yeah, maybe there'll be actual legislation to curb some of this corruption-oriented stuff and
And starting with
attacks.
the sorry, not to interrupt you.
Hmm.
Starting with this, Supreme Court of the United States.
Hmm.
They were they laid out the red carpet. They allowed Trump to happen. They allowed Trump to do the most damage to this country and to this democracy. They
Hmm.
need to be held accountable.
Yeah, that's probably the first place if I were in charge for getting it.
Mhm.
I think I talked about it on our deep dive. I would definitely yeah, expand the court and term limit it and put some codes of ethics in there. So
Right.
all right, now we're getting domestic here, honey.
Sorry.
I got one more foreign issue
All
here.
right. I'm ready.
I just want to shout out to Giorgia Meloni, the prime minister of Italy, who's a right winger actually, but
Mhm.
she is just smoking Trump's ass here on I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff she's saying. So after Trump came out and said, there's a very animated conversation they're having, and Trump was saying, "Yeah, she was begging me to have a photo," and
What have
she is just ripping him a new one, and
Ugh.
she's not taking any crap from him,
Good
and
for her.
yeah, and she's making videos, and it's like, Italians don't beg, and that kind of stuff, and she ain't, yeah, her other politics are a little goofy, but she's standing up, and she's gonna end up being like a leader in Europe, I think, about.
Yeah, and her approval ratings are going all that much higher because she's standing up to Trump. When are
Mhm,
people gonna get the message? When are they gonna understand
uh-huh,
if you stand up to Trump and push back, you'll gain respect. You
yep,
will act as instead of, like, supplicating yourself and
yep, yeah,
yeah,
I don't know, but the guys who I don't get are the billionaires. I mean, if Mark Zuckerberg doesn't have enough "fuck you" money, I mean, how much goddamn money do you need?
I know.
And if
He
Jeff
just has an
Bezos
issue.
yeah, if Jeff Bezos doesn't have enough "fuck you" money, my god, yeah. So
At their levels, it's a mental disorder, frankly.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's more about power, and if I hang out with him, I got power, and
Their
I can.
mothers didn't love them enough, so whatever.
So, all right. Anyway, all
Okay.
righty. Let's go back to domestic. So we already had our short. Oh, SCOTUS here. Okay, we talked about SCOTUS. I had a SCOTUS item. They had a ruling where there was a guy in prison who was a Rastafarian, and he's got really long hair, and the prison guards forcibly cut his hair, even though it's part of his religious uh,
Oh.
upbringing, and so apparently, SCOTUS, they defend religious freedom when you're a white Christian, but if you're a black and not a Christian, then they don't give a shit about your religious freedom. They support religious freedom in many other areas. Like if a Christian doesn't want to bake a cake for a gay couple, they'll certainly allow that. But God forbid a Rastafarian wants to have long hair. No, 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 we can't have that. So I just wanted to kind of point out to the hypocrisy
Mhm.
there of religious freedom for some, but not for all. It depends on some
Right.
religions are better than others, and we can all guess what's the better religion in America. So,
Mhm.
uh, I'm thinking about joining the Rastafarians, honey. Throw away my Catholic background here.
Alright.
If I had any hair, I'd grow it. Mm. But let's go to Tulsi Gabbard. And I
Yeah.
think we all, a lot of people I follow, and I think you too, are just over the last handful of years have just been wondering what in the hell is with this chick. And if she's not a Russian agent, she sure the hell is acting like one. So,
Right. She kind
and,
of made no sense. Nobody got her. You know what I
mhm,
mean? You can kind of tell what kind of people are and,
mhm,
kind of who they are and what they're gonna do. She was always just out there, and nobody ever, at least for me, I never got her. I never
mhm.
understood her. So you're telling me she's controlled by a cult. That would
It comes
explain
out
a lot.
big, New York Times article, I think it was New York Times, yeah, she's
Mhm.
basically been her whole family, it started with her parents, were part of
Wow.
this cult in
She'll be in
Hawaii, I guess, right?
therapy for that. Okay. Fine.
Yeah, and, they've got, word for word with an email, I forget the guy's name here, the cult
Mm.
leader, what is the exact, and he would send her an email or a letter or something, and the words verbatim would come out of her mouth shortly afterwards.
That is bizarre.
Mhm.
I feel sorry for her in a
Yeah,
way.
well,
Yeah.
cults, that's what cults are, so,
Yeah. So
let
why
me
did
see,
it take so long for that to come out? She
good,
actually was trying to be president.
yeah, good, I think she
Really?
was, yeah, I don't know, where the hell was the New York
Yeah.
Times 5 years ago or 3
10
years
years
ago,
ago.
or whatever, so,
Right.
and, maybe if this came out, then maybe she wouldn't have ended up being, the director of
Of
national
national
intelligence.
intelligence, maybe.
Oh, yeah, thanks, New York Times, where the hell were you 3 years ago, so
3, 10, seriously.
yeah. So, anyway, it's out now and she's fired, so, I just hope, she
But
can
is
help her
she fired
husband
or did she,
or
quit
or
for family reasons or something?
yeah, or I don't know if she's out yet or she's about to be out. I just hope she can help her husband get better or whatever, what happens
Yeah.
with him. So, and the reflecting pool keeps coming back. It is the gift that just keeps on giving. It's just symbolic of the putrid, peccant philosophy that is leading our country here. It's
Mm.
blue, it's green, it's got algae. I think it's killing
Yeah.
ducks now. The paint
Isn't
is
that a metaphor for America?
it is actually a meta. That's why people are wondering why the hell do we care about this reflecting pool? It is a perfect
Oh,
metaphor for what the
yeah,
hell is going on. The paint is
sure.
peeling. They're throwing chlorine in or hydrogen peroxide or whatever.
It's
The
killing the
ducks are landing on it,
ducks.
and then they're dying. They're killing
They're
ducks.
doing autopsies on the
They're
ducks to see
People are,
what
yeah,
killed
people
them.
are getting arrested because if they just
Yeah,
innocently wanna stick their hand in it, they're getting arrested. People have a bicycle tire run over a hose by accident, and they get arrested. I mean, what? And
just
Trump is saying it's been vandalized. I mean, this thing
no,
probably has 7,000
no.
cameras on it, and he's saying, "Oh, it's been vandalized."
Yeah, no. He's just looking for somebody else to blame, except himself, of course.
Yeah,
That
and,
oh my god. But
and the
that
guy
is like it truly is the metaphor for America. If
mhm,
he can't get the reflecting pool to look blue
goddamn
and
pool.
gorgeous, that's just an example of his failure as a president. I think that's what he feels.
Yeah. Well, he'll always come up with a different excuse, I guess, so,
Right.
we'll see what happens, or we could just go back and put it the way it was, but we can't do that because it was most recently fixed by Barack Obama, and, God forbid
Mhm.
that black man do anything, so he has to undo it, so alright, the Five Eyes, grouping, which is the five countries that, bond together and have an intelligence, apparatus that would be America, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and the UK. I think it's referred to as the Five Eyes. They just put out an AI warning that AI might end up being an issue, a national security issue if used incorrectly or not, well, not incorrectly, but used nefariously by our enemies. So, I mean, AI is popping up to the top of everybody's list here for various reasons. Either you're gonna lose your job or we're gonna get attacked. You know, you theoretically, you think, Russia could have go to Claude and say, "Hey, how do I shut down all the electrical grids in, Upper Manhattan?"
Yeah,
And boom, they
totally.
do it. They do it, so
Yeah. AI is an awesome power and it
mhm,
needs to be managed.
mhm,
There needs to be guardrails.
mhm.
And is anybody doing that? No?
Well, there's definitely plenty of people trying to do that. Various governments are putting limits on things. It's obviously not here because it's America, and God forbid we put a limit on anybody doing anything.
Because it might
uh,
interfere with making money for them
might
specifically.
they might only make 500 billion instead of a trillion. So God forbid we do anything that might
Right,
actually help people. I mean,
right.
they're already doing it with social media. They've got age limits now in a lot of places, and we're not even sniffing that. Try to
Mhm,
tell families, "Hey, your kid can't get on Twitter until they're 14 or whatever." You
right.
know, we'll see. See what's going on, but
But
just
there's a Bernie Sanders, for one, who is making efforts to try to
mhm,
imagine the future,
right.
10, 20, 30 years from now and figure out a way to make everything make sense for
Well,
the
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. There are plenty of intelligent people who are trying to planful people that are trying to plan for this. It's just that we have a
Mhm.
freaking shithead for a president
Yeah, there's that.
who thinks it's 1984,
Yeah.
and he wants
It
to go
was a
back
good
to
year.
using coal and
Yeah.
you know, God forbid we move forward with any power or anything. So, uh,
Mhm.
all right. And anyway, so that came out. I did notice. I think this came out today that there was some major league prison sentences for some people who attacked a ice facility in Texas. I think
Mhm.
they got multiple decade sentences.
Really?
Yeah, which I know we'll see if people end up getting pardoned, but there was a little more to it. There was some guns involved. I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but it was still overly harsh for all these people. One guy
Right.
got a 100-year sentence, which is friggin'
Oh,
ridiculous.
good God.
I don't even, I don't even think Ted Bundy got 100 years.
Right. So you're saying in comparison to the people who attacked our Congress,
Yeah,
our
compared to
yeah,
the insurrectionists from January 6th
exactly,
who
who all
ended
got
up getting all pardoned.
pardoned, and
Yeah,
Trump's
so
trying to give them money. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
a little
so
different.
I hope that, the court system, the appeal process, throttles all that stuff down
Yeah. Yeah.
or there's pardons or something here, but, uh, yeah, just the Trump administration just using the justice system to go after their enemies and stuff,
Mhm.
it continues. So,
Mhm.
and then we got the Senate, I think that was today, they just voted, a handful of, Republicans joined with the Democrats to curb, Trump's war powers. That came out of the Senate.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
so that just came out today, a couple hours ago, I think. So, I
To
think
to
the
curb
House
his war powers after the war has started. Okay. Just
Yeah, yeah.
saying.
A little better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, a little slow, but that's
And
okay.
I think the House did something recently, a couple weeks ago. Maybe I mean,
It's the
it'll end
thought
up
that
getting
counts.
they'll end
Yeah.
up getting vetoed, and they don't have enough to override it, so but, hey, signs of a backbone, huh? So
Little signs, yes.
yeah.
Oh,
So, and then the last thing I got was that Alan Greenspan died today. So, for those of you
yeah.
that follow the
Mhm.
Fed and business, Alan Greenspan, longtime financial leader in the country, he was the Fed chairman 2 months after he got, nom or confirmed as Fed chairman, we had, the worst stock market crash day in the history of our country. It was Black Monday in October of 1987. He was confirmed in
Mm.
August of 1987, and, he contributed to the philosophy which lasted for decades after that of a loose monetary policy. He created something called they refer to it as the Greenspan put, which is basically you increase the liquidity as a kind of a support for the market. He was the originator of quantitative easing, buying assets, increasing money supply, and that's referred to as the Greenspan put, meaning it's kind of a floor on the market. And that policy, a similar type policy, was continued by Ben Bernanke, by Janet Yellen. During the crisis, the housing crisis, Ben Bernanke
Wow.
and the Fed bought a bunch of assets. Janet Yellen did the same thing. Jerome Powell came during COVID and increased a lot of money supply. And guess what? We're $39 trillion in debt. So
At the end of the day, we owe a
uh,
little money.
yeah, no, at the end of the day, we all owe a little money. Another day older and deeper in debt. What's the name? What's is that the song there, honey?
Another day older and deeper in
Um,
debt.
yes.
Sounds like a country singer. Sorry.
Shoot, what's the name of that song? I'll look it up for the next
It'll
episode.
be a follow-up for next time.
Yes. 16 tons, what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt.
There you go.
Alright. That's all I got. Is this a short one today? What are we at here?
It's just a little below the average, but not shameful.
Make
We're
sure make
hitting
sure
just a little over 30 minutes, 32. If we
okay.
keep if we keep talking like this, we can extend it out, but I'm sure I'm sure people have better things to do.
To make sure you keep your car, filled up with gas. You never know when the strategic oil reserve is gonna run out.
There you go. It's like your father saying, always keep your gas tank full.
Yep,
All right.
yep.
Well, that's all we have for today. Again, please follow, subscribe, or share this with a good friend.
And thank you for
Yeah.
listening to episode 21.
21, yes. So thanks, everybody. Take care. Goodbye.